Welcome to episode 578 of Salsidoparanormal. I'm your host, James Salcido, and tonight we are doing another episode of Listener Experiences. As always, you can find all episodes of the show, along with links to social media and other ways to contact me, at the podcast page, and that is salsidoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions or accounts of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those on the show or, as in the case of tonight, have you join me on the show to talk about them. Thank you all for listening, whether you are here for the live streams on Discord or if you listen to the podcast or YouTube feeds or on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. KUAP Digital Broadcasting. There you can hear replays of 2 episodes of the show every night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, right before Troubled Minds Radio comes on. And as always, I want to thank Michael Strange, host of Troubled Minds Radio, for having me on the network and putting all my shows up there. If you'd like to help out the show, there are some different ways to do that. You can share the show with others and rate and review it on your favorite podcast platform. You can sign up for Patreon, where starting soon you'll be getting 1 extra episode per week of the show. That's True Paranormal Stories from the Web. At any membership tier level there, any of those paid membership tier levels. You can also find books I've written over on Amazon, paranormal fiction and nonfiction, with a new one coming hopefully within the next few months, definitely this year. And of course, you can always make one-time donations through PayPal. Help is never expected, but always appreciated, as there are expenses in making these shows, and then the books that are going to be associated with them, from equipment to research materials to travel expenses in some cases. So I think that takes care of everything. Now, for those of you who have listened to the show before, you will recognize my guest tonight. So just want to we're going to talk about some more experiences. So Jeff, thank you for coming back on the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, definitely glad to do that, because I'm always interested in more, hearing about more experiences and just collecting sort of ideas about how they all work, and the more we get, I think the more we can slowly start to do that. So wherever you want to start is fine with me. Go right ahead.
Well, first off, I guess I'm probably gonna have a lot of questions also, because to be honest with you, because I don't, a lot of things that paranormal wise I don't really fully grasp, and I know you do, so this is going to be great.
I don't know if I fully grasp them myself, but I do have I've definitely heard a lot of them, so that does
Yep,
seem to help.
yep. So, I guess one thing that weighs on me a lot, doesn't really weigh on me, but I think about a lot. Just um, what kind of things are there like following me around? Because I feel like maybe like good luck, bad luck type of thing. But I know I've been noticing some things over the past couple months or whatever that happened that seem pretty sketchy, right? Like example. Just randomly I'm getting just a pile of dimes and change um just all over my house. Like there's be like a dime like here and there, and just like on my bed, on the table, on the thing. Sometimes it's a quarter, which is nice, but like I don't know necessarily where it's all coming from, to be honest with you. And then like drop my phone outside, right? And outside. And I have like a stylus thing in my phone that goes inside the phone, and like when it comes out, it brings up this little menu and whatever you can draw on your phone, whatever. Anyways, so if it hits the ground hard enough, the thing will pop out, right? That's happened probably a billion times. It's been a lot. I drop my phone all the time. And so every time I find the silent, I always find it. I'm like, oh, it's there, it's sweet. Well, this one time I dropped it outside and when I'm walking out to go to work, and boom, I pick it up, I look, it's gone, and I'm like, oh no, oh no, it's gone. Because the grass, because I have a little skinny like cement walkway, like sidewalk thing up whatever to my house, and it's fairly narrow. And I look up and down that, and I'm like, it's not there. I don't see it. There's no way I'm gonna find it in the grass. You know what I mean? This is
Huh.
probably zero chance. So I'm looking around for it for a little bit, and I'm like, whatever, I gotta go to work. It's whatever, it's gone. I finally, finally, I lost the damn thing. So, like, whatever. Well, then, and I'm talking like a week later, I come in, and the thing is sitting in here right in the middle of my living room floor,
Wow.
just sitting there. And I'm like, nice. And I literally was like, thank you to whoever fucking did that. Sorry for the language, but like, because I was just kind of blown away. I was like, what the, that was weird. Like this, it was like a week later too. Now, did I like step on it and stick on my shoe? I don't know. Possible, I guess, but it was like right in the middle of like when I came home from work, like the week later, and it was in the middle of my floor, on my living room floor, right smack dab in the middle. First thing I saw when I walked in, I'm like, what the heck?
That is
So
wild.
you know, so it was like good things, like like random, like cool, nice things, like hey, thank you, and but then oh, all these dumb little bad terrible things, right? That are just like really, really just constant, like example, just trying to put a screw in, from because I work. I mean, I use drill and I screw a lot of things. I do a lot of installs and stuff. Anyways, and you're like going to put a thing, and then all of a sudden, like the screw falls off, or you drop it, or it falls off. You go pick it up, it does it again, and it's just like over and over. Like what, why? It's just just dumb things like that. So it gets me to thinking. It's like are there like these outside forces that just kind of mess with you, you know? Um, and then I started like digging into things because I guess I was after one of the shows I called into the Mike show on the Troubled Minds, I about the Unga, right? I just like I never thought about some things, you know what I mean, in my
Now,
life, and I'm like, oh my god, so I started thinking about things, right? And
yeah,
so I start doing more paranormal, like looking and whatever, digging into the ritual, whatever. I start digging into the internets and stuff, and so it's just I don't know. I'm I'm just blown away with all the stuff that I'm seeing. So now I'm questioning a lot of things, right?
yeah. I was gonna ask you and I forgot to do it before. What exactly, because I don't recognize the what you said there, Unga?
hmm
I
Okay,
don't think I know
we're
that.
yeah, yep. I'm gonna get. I'll tell that real quick because it's
Okay.
actually very paranormal-ish. Like this is like really trippy. Like oh my goodness, James. Okay, so we as a young kid, growing up, I grew up out in the like a forest setting, right? Like I was out in the county forest, and we could do um I went camping. Me and my buddies, we'd all go camping. Like we'd be like 15 of us, and we'd have like dirt bikes and four wheelers and whatever. And then when we got a little older, it turned into cars, right? Because we could drive
Right.
cars and pick up trucks and stuff. So we would go way back into the forest, and this is like a time long ago when like this was like okay, or nobody checked or cared or whatever. But we always cleaned up. We were great kids too. But so we're back camping, and on having a fire, big fire, and we're way back in there. So the trail to get back into this place is it's pretty treacherous. I mean, it's like you almost need probably a dirt bike or four wheeler, right? But I mean, we're mashing our cars back there. We didn't care, right? So
Yeah.
we some people couldn't. get their cars back there, and they would have to pull off to the side and then walk the rest of the way. So, um, so it wasn't like we're back there. Nobody's gonna mess with us. So
Right.
we're all having a good time. We had like a whole bunch of beers and stuff, and we're drinking and just all of us are having fun. And out of nowhere, man, I tell you, out of like when I say out of nowhere, I mean out of nowhere, these three dudes come out of the woods, like just out of the out of nowhere. I mean, but they were older than us, maybe by like a couple years. Like we were like seniors in high school. They were probably like out of in their 20s or something. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And really no business being back there. I mean, I, it was really weird. First of all, okay, I thought it was weird, and so I didn't really talk to these any of these gentlemen. I just didn't, because I was kind of just like, watching and stuff. But anyways, get to the Unga part. They proceed to in the conversations and whatever show us this trick or whatever, which I just thought of as a cool like fire trick. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's pretty funny. It works and everybody's gonna get a laugh out of it and whatever, and conversation piece, whatever. So what it is they just took a piece of newspaper and then make basically a parachute out of it and take the corners and kind of pull it under and then twist it together, and it makes like a little parachute, and is set it on the fire. And then they all made us chant, and they said that we all had to do it. Like everybody has to do it, otherwise it's not going to work, right? And we're like, all right, let's do it. Like we all did it. We chanted Unga, 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 just like that. Okay. And so they put this thing on the fire, and we're chanting, and all of a sudden it burns a flame, and then it turns into this like you know cindery, ashy, like piece of material now, and it's just sitting in there. We're Unga. And the more we say it, like we're all getting there, it starts to raise up out of the fire, right? And it just like a
Wow.
basically like a little Chinese lantern. It's physics, we'll say, but
Yeah.
still, right? So we start raising it. It starts goes up in the air, and it goes up there, bro. It's like all like awesome, like what I mean. And it wasn't until that show that night, actually, and this was, I'm 45 years old now, so this is, that was pre, that was like 18 years old, I think, yeah, at the time. So, I mean, long time ago, and like, Lord knows, like, what did we unlock? What did they have us do? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I never thought about that, but like, it just, it was really trippy. They literally like I think I said it on other show, like I it's like children in the corner, man. They just came out of the woods. Now I could get like I could try to debunk it, or or like say like some things like this, like, well, maybe they were in the woods surveying us and kind of feeling it out, and then they were like, oh, these guys are cool, let's go down. Could have been, you know, but we were
Yeah.
way back. I mean, we're miles off the beaten path, right? And then we're miles off of that beaten path.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, it was in so yeah, since the Trouble Minds show, when I called in, because I remember thinking about, wow, this is crazy. I should say this. And then I started looking into things and start paying attention. I mean, like maybe I just got a more watchful eye of things now or something. And you know, that was just a couple of things, yeah.
So, a couple of questions here with those
Mhm.
people. Where do they go after that?
That will, um, so I'll be honest with you, it got a little drunk out that night. and
Okay. No
could
problem.
not tell you.
No problem. I'm just curious
Yep,
if they went back
yep.
into the
I could not.
woods or yeah.
Yeah, I could not honestly tell you where they drifted off to. I didn't again. I didn't speak to them. Like I didn't. I was kind of like myself. I was kind of shying away from that. So
Yeah.
different people. I didn't know who they were. Just I'm just like, I'm just gonna sit back here and kind of feel it out. And then I woke up not feeling well, probably.
Huh. So there were three guys a little bit older than you all. Did they can you remember what they look like, their clothes and stuff like? Did they look like they belonged?
They looked absolutely like normal, like clothing, just like
Okay.
we were, would be wearing. Yeah, they were just normal dudes from like maybe a different town or something. That's all I could think of. That's what I thought. It's some dudes from a different town or something. I never once thought about it as like anything else. But I'm not one to not believe in anything paranormal. So the for me not to think about it was kind of weird until for so long. You know what I mean? And then once I thought about it, it was like, holy buckets, James. What could we have unlocked? What could we have done? What did they get us to do? Or maybe something good. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It really is hard to say.
I
It's sort of like
don't know.
if you use any kind of any kind of a device really as a tool, or whether it's a physical thing or not. If you're focused on something like that, it's hard to say what that does or doesn't do, I think, unless you're talking extreme cases. But if there's not,
Mm.
you know, that, then it's really hard to because so yeah, I don't know, but the way that they just came out of the woods like that, that is kind of, and then they just approached you all. I mean, yeah, that's an odd one right
Yeah,
there.
and we were deep, and we were like 15 deep. I mean, there was a lot of us and three of them. So I mean,
Right.
they
Yeah.
they, not knowing the situation whatsoever.
Yeah. Looking at the chat here, Jay says sometimes it takes time to process. 20 years is not that long. Yeah. It's yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm I really like, my mind wants to go somewhere where, like, with these guys were like not living people, but then it's like, well, no, wait, hang on here. They could have been just regular people. But I'd be curious about. I'm gonna After the show, I'm gonna look up that that phrase, that unga thing, and see what that
No.
means because I'm curious now.
Both. Okay. Now I want you to, yes, because maybe you'll come up with something. I did. Mike did. Right. And we both came up with something a little different. I had something, but was close. There was some of the same wordage, in what we found, I think. But yeah, it'd be curious to see what you could dig up because
I must have
I
missed
don't
that
know.
show that where you told that story too. I'm like, show. I must have missed that episode because
Possibly.
I don't remember that. When you're talking about it, I don't remember. Then again, there's so many episodes. That's the amazing thing about doing these shows is there's so many episodes. I mean, I could have just forgotten. But wow, yeah. And then to have that ash or whatever of this little parachute thing rise back up.
Mhm,
I mean, if it stayed together, that'd be even more amazing. If it broke up, then that is more like, that makes more sense physics wise.
mhm.
But if it
No,
stayed
it stayed
together,
together, just like it stayed together, just floated away, just oh, yeah.
that's yeah, that makes it seem a little bit more paranormal. Makes it seem more interesting that way. Because I would just wonder how long it stayed together before it eventually fell apart. Of
Mhm.
course, there's no way
I
to
mean,
know. Some of these things you have no way of
I've
knowing.
done it. I've done it since. You know what I mean? I can do it, and maybe I
Right,
should do it and record it or something. So I don't know. It's like it's not, But here's the thing. I will tell you this: you do have to chant the unga to get
right,
this thing to rise. I'm not like if you don't do it, and the person that's with the people with you don't believe that it will rise if you don't say, you know what I mean? It
right.
won't. It'll get messed up. Something will happen. Wind. something. It'll tip over. It'll burn weird. It's something. Because I've had it happen a few times where people won't, like this, they're like, yeah, whatever, they don't see nothing, and it won't go up, and everybody's like all bummed out, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. You're looking at the chair. It might just be part of physics. Jay says, "Yeah." See, that's the thing. It's I don't know, but it is amazing that that time anyway it worked out like that. But
Mhm.
yeah. I don't know. Something about the whole like to me that's the whole experience more than any one part of it
It's mhm.
that
Some
is
kind of a fire ritual we did, that's like, could be looked at that way, or we just did some just cool trick they showed us in conversation. Yeah, either way,
yeah,
very creepy.
could just be all your energy combined. All your energy
Yeah.
from. Now, I would wonder too when you're chanting that. Are you all looking at the the fire? I mean, I imagine you would be. You'd be looking at the fire, and
Oh
then
yeah.
so that's a lot of focus, both of sound and of almost. I mean, maybe possibly light on all that, and then the mind. Yeah. Anyway,
Mhm.
yeah. Well, that's an amazing one. I'm gonna look up into that. Yeah, I'm looking at the chat here. Never underestimate a good conversation. Yeah, that's that. So, but yeah, that's an amazing one there. And the fact that I don't remember hearing about that on the on that show that you're talking about there. So, yeah, well, that's and I want to get back to also to the coins. I've found several stories about people finding coins all around their homes over the years. That's you're not the first person I've heard about that from.
Mm.
So, and of course, people. I mean, obviously, it is weird. I can understand why people would get freaked out, but a lot of the stories I've found, I feel like that's the only, and at least in a lot of cases, that's the only thing that happens. They're not having a ton of other activity um, along with that in a lot of cases. So I wonder if that's connected to anything else at all that has happened in your home or not. It could be. It could be.
I
It
mean,
could
I
be.
I do
Not
have a lot of other. I have one light in the back, my by my back door. It's like a motion light,
right.
and that will just randomly go off,
Mm,
and it'll like sometimes go off, and then it'll like on a timer then, and then it shuts back off, and then it'll go back on, and it's like, what the hell's back there? And I'll go back there and look. There's no spider or web, or you know what I mean? Nothing
yeah.
tripping this thing off. Like what's making this thing go off? It happens a lot. So I pulled the string on it and just left it off because
Right.
you know
Yeah.
what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be a goofy sensor or whatever, but I had, you know, noises. There's a lot of noises around here, but I don't really care too much because
Yeah.
I've always believed that there is like ghosts and stuff. There's probably just things everywhere, you know what I mean? So I don't like, I've never really personally been like frightened or anything. You know what I mean? I'm just like
Right.
whatever. I've always played off just like, hey, what's up? If I think something's weird, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just
Uh, yeah.
sometimes I'll still run up the stairs though, from the basement when it's dark.
Right. Yep. Yeah. No, I don't blame you. There's once in a while where I will have a weird feeling from my like the my backyard sometimes. It's just like there's someone or something there, and it'll come and go, and then it's gone. Looking at the chat here, Ricky says regarding the light, if it comes back on after you turn it off, then you'll know for sure. Which of course is true, I guess. Um, Jay says he remembers a similar story. Ricky says I've done the flashlight thing at work and got a response. I need to have you on the show
Oh,
sometime, Ricky, to talk about your experiences if you ever want to. That'd be fun. Yeah. Okay.
yep.
We'll have to arrange that. He says he'd be glad to. So yeah. The flashlight thing. gosh, I don't want to like make this an episode about my experiences, but I had a friend that tried that with me once in my apartment, and it seemed to work a couple times, and then we'd be like, oh, well, it seems to have stopped, and then boom, it turned back on again. So, so yeah, there's something to that too. I know
Mhm.
there's the skeptical explanation that it's various parts of the thing that are expanding and contracting, but there's some times where you see those things and it's like, and you have an experience with that thing and it's like, okay, come on, the timing is just a little too much. But
Uh,
but yeah, so but anyway, sorry to get back into
oh,
my own stuff, but yeah,
yeah, but I mean that. So that's pretty much all my ghosties things. I was, or paranormal things. I just was kind of stewing on. I figured you'd like to hear that stuff. Um, I had some dream things, some really creepy dream things happen a lot frequently, and then um which got me to thinking and other things as well. I mean, and just
yeah,
one of
whatever you
the
want
one
to
of the
say.
things I was digging into after the Unga and all the research and this and that, and it was just I started digging and um kind of just got onto some articles about like dark matter somehow
Mm,
in the universe, and like you know what it is and what it could be, or things like that. And I started thinking about that, and then I was like, thinking about sometimes when I do have bad luck or good things happen, things like that. Well, what about light matter? Dark matter, light matter, and is that a balance in the universe? Is that just constantly maybe messing with us, or because or maybe it doesn't mess with any people at all? I don't know.
yeah, I don't
Maybe
know.
you're
I've
more.
only
Maybe
with
maybe it's one and the same. You know what I mean? It's like the things are one and the same, and as far as life as goes. So
yeah. I've been wondering, and I think I did bring this up about a couple of times over the years on again a couple of episodes of Trouble Minds here and there. I think they did a show on it a couple of times, well, at least once too. The idea of anything that's like any of that dark energy or matter stuff out there, is that connected to the whole shadow apparition kind of thing. Um, in some cases, is that where they come from or how they come?
Mhm.
And
Right?
if that's all around and we don't see it, but it can be moving through, or we can be moving through it. The planet can be moving through it, and that's not to say that all shadows are that, or all lights are, us moving through a light field or whatever energy field.
Mhm.
But I don't think that's impossible that it can't be some of the things. So, looking at the chat here, uh, DG says I've never tried the flashlight thing. Would love to, but my flashlight doesn't turn. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing with the flashlight thing. Um, I think it's a mag light. I think it's the type of flashlight that has but I think you can find like cheaper versions that do have because that is supposedly part of the key to that whole experiment, where it has to be the
Wait.
kind where you turn there's something that you turn. You don't push or pull or whatever the switch. It's a turning dial kind of thing at the back of it. That is how you turn it on, I believe, from what I've heard. Twist the head, yeah. So okay, yeah, yep.
All right. So what happened? Like, what did you do? Like, we have to wait to Ricky's show
Oh
when
no,
he
I
comes on
haven't
your
had
show.
Ricky on yet. I haven't had
Yeah,
Ricky
yeah,
on yet.
yeah. Yeah. Once he comes on, I'll
Oh,
listen. I'll listen and tune in, and you can tell me all about it.
yeah. But no, the flashlight thing. So funny enough, I went to there was this. I'm not sure if they're still around now. This group called Motor City Ghost Hunters, and used to do a couple of like once a year they do a presentation at the library at one of the libraries in my town where I live, and they would always show what how like the equipment and all that and how they do things. And the last time I went there, I went with this one friend, the same friend that we had the experience here at my place, and they were showing everything. And as they were talking about all like the flashlights and other gear, and they just had the flashlight setting on the table, it just turned on and then turned off, and did that a couple of times. So then we happened to my friend happened to get one of those or a couple of those little flashlights because he was curious about that if it could happen, because obviously the idea is, well, it's a presentation, so who knows, what's going on there if it's someone in the group doing that or whatever.
Right, right.
But we had it, this one night we had it set up here and tried asking, is there someone there? And then boom, came on. And then we tried asking other questions, yes or no questions, and it would not react. It was like if there was someone there, they were not interested in giving any information about themselves. So it
Mm.
would just go on and off randomly. But then as soon as it would stop for a while, we a couple times we said, "Oh well, it looks like it stopped," and then boom, back on again. So
Yeah.
there's something to that. I don't know. I think there's as always there's all the options there. Of sometimes it's just the natural like skeptical explanation does make sense sometimes, and other times it's like, well, that's the timing is just too weird for that. So, but yeah.
Hmm. Interesting, but it could be a way. It could be a way to somehow communicate. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it can be, though, again, when you're communicating, the question is always, who are you communicating with?
Right.
So I don't like I did that a couple of times there because I was curious, but I don't do that in my I don't investigate my own home because I still have random things happen here once in a while, and that's not even counting the out of body things and the weird parallel alternate universe things that happen when I'm asleep. I don't
Oh my
need to be
goodness.
I don't need to be adding, ask contacting others and adding more and more activity here. So, yeah, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's gosh, I'm really curious about those three guys. My mind keeps going back to those three guys. It's like, were they regular people that just knew this trick? Where did they learn that trick from? Or were they some kind of, I mean, nature entities that were disguised as people, regular
Right.
people?
Right. They surveyed us like, oh, this is what they're all wearing. Well, this boom, we know what to do. Boom, and this made
Yeah.
us do some fire ritual real quick. And
And then I mean, just knowing that if they were some other kind of entity, then they would have probably been able to sort of sense your energies and see what you have there and oh they're planning on partying and they looks like they've got some stuff there with them that they might not remember this whole night when it's all done. So let's just go have some fun on our own. Um, but I mean, it could have just been regular people too, which is odd because then again, like I said, where did they figure that out? So, but yeah,
they figured out where and like, what the heck? Why would they have came to where we were at? Even if they were okay, let's just say they were real people and they were just randomly like, what the heck were they doing way the heck back there? You know what I mean? And must have walked a long ways.
yeah,
And it's just silly, like it was just weird. So either way,
yeah,
like I said, it was really, like it's creepy any way you look at it. Like it's like this or trippy, you know what I mean? It's just wow. I
right,
Yeah, so that's the thing, and I have done and will do the Oonga here and there, sometimes. So
right.
I don't know, maybe I'm still making terrible things happen, or who knows what.
I see. I don't know anything for sure, as I always say, but I would say if you don't get any bad feelings or weird feelings from it when you're doing that,
No, it's usually some
then
kind of joy or excitement when it lifts off, and it's
yeah.
like, yeah, everybody's
So
pretty thrilled about it when it happens. So
yeah. So I would say, yeah. I mean, not that I'm telling you I know for sure, but
right,
looking at the chat here, we'll just do some closing comments here.
yeah,
Um, and let me see here. Looking at yeah, Jay says those light things are off the hook. That's a whole. I could probably do a whole show on that whole how all that works, or why it works or when it works. Anyway, Ricky in chat says, yeah, I heard Dave Schrader, and if anyone that doesn't know him, he's been doing paranormal shows both through TV in recent years and then just online radio, and I think even terrestrial radio shows on the paranormal for years. But he says that Dave Schrader says you never try because you don't want to find out something you don't want to know. You don't really want to know. And Jay says, yeah, don't bother anyone. Yeah, brief encounters. Yep. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on the show again, Jeff. It was great and amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Amazing account there. So if you ever have anything else you want to share, you're welcome to come back and we can do this again.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks for having me on. Have a good night.
You as well.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for listening. Yeah.
Yep. Take care. And I'll close out the show here and you can meet up and we'll go from there. Actually, I think I can bump you back down to the audience. But yeah, move to audience. There we go. I know what I'm doing. Not really. Anyway, thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you all on the next episode of Salsidoparanormal. And take care.